We are live, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check on the YouTube on the phone. Make sure YouTube is running. But today we're going to be making a beat with free plugins. A lot of people keep asking me what are the best free plugins. And last night, excuse me, let me make sure we're live first before I go in. Let me check the audio. Hold up, y'all. Okay, so the free plugins. We're going to be making beats with free plugins today. And the reason is because people keep asking me about the best plugins, and on top of the best plugins, what are the best free plugins? And so I never had a real list of free stuff because I always thought the free stuff wasn't good. It was too cheap to use. This is years ago. I was mistaken because I didn't know about the company Analog Obsession. They have a Patreon and you don't have to pay for it. I would love to see where this company goes with their paid products, even though you can pay and become a patron. Here is the link. Click here for free plugins. Now they make mixing plugins. Okay, so I just learned last night when I was doing research that basically there's more plugins how do I say say this in the right English? They've developed more plugins than what's shown on their website. So this is why I'm giving you guys the Patreon link, because if you go to their Patreon, if you keep clicking on show more, there's like a ton of plugins I didn't even see from this company. So just as a quick recap, I'll go through all these plugins you guys could use. We got Ben's Beats here. What's up? Kona Beats, Otaki. What's up? So firstly, they have like guitar pedal plugins. They have, like Very limiter compressor plugins. They have tube or what do you call these things? Tube preamps. They have another preamp there. They have it models the Helios EQ, which is known for its used in rock. They have compressors, literally so many free plugins that I was blown away. I'm still shocked that they put all these plugins out. I don't know how this company makes money, but when they do come out with their paid stuff, I would be a glad supporter because I'm going to download when I can a lot of these plugins because there's so many on here. You can keep scrolling. They have plugins for drums, vocals, compressor, channel strip, it looks like. They have, like I said, the Helios EQ, guitar pedals. They have, I forget what this EQ is called. Darn. I think they tell you what they modeled it after too. Okay, so again, the link's in the chat. So grab these free plugins while they're free. What happens is usually with these companies, once I put people onto the free plugins, they start charging money. So there's a website that had vintage drum machine samples. And I forget the name of the website. I'll find it. Give me a second here. But it's called darn. Where's that guy's thing? Vintage drum machine samples. Oh, here it is. I think it's this one. Yeah, here it is. So on this website, I put you guys onto this website probably a year ago. And what happened was all this was free a year ago. Okay. And then if you scroll down all the way to the bottom, because I went to download one of these drum kits. I already had it in my library, but I thought I didn't have it. But I went to download the Roland, or what was it? The Korg, one of these. I think it was a Roland something drum machine. And then I scrolled all the way to the bottom. And then it says donate. So you can't download this stuff for free anymore. So that's why when I make these videos, you guys got to act fast because at any point in time, these companies can just put a paywall up. And if you want to support them, you could support them. But these were free at one time. Okay. And if you missed the boat, you missed the boat. Okay. So all I'm saying is grab these Analog Obsession plugins before they start putting that paywall up. Okay. This is a Very compressor for free. Like a Very just for reference, Very compressor. Let's see how much it costs. This is a $7,000 compressor that is free right now. Let's hope y'all understand the value that these guys are putting out. A $7,000 compressor for free. Okay. And you don't even have to give your email. Like this company is truly giving you stuff for free. So that's why I said when they come out with paid stuff, we got to support them because they've done the Lord's work, so to speak. What's up, Pierre Blue? Santonio, what's up? All right, shout out to y'all. So we're going to be making beats with free plugins. So I just wanted to put y'all on to this stash I found last night. Even I didn't know they had this many plugins. So that's why I'm still in shock because there's so many on here. They have an LA2A for your vocals for free called Lala. What's up, Elevated? Zenith is here. Pardon clear my throat. They have The SSL compressor right here for you guys, completely free, called Buster SE. SSL is like classic Dr. Dre. Basically, all the top hip hop folks use SSL stuff, or did, I should say. BB is here. I'm just trying to show you guys the important ones. So in the case that you can't download all of them, what else is important to download from this site? And then we'll get started with the beat making. Excuse me, man. Should have grabbed the water before speaking. What else? Let me just make sure I'm covering everything. Here's the SSL. Wait, what is this? SSQ. I believe this is modeled after the SSL Fusion or the SSL channel strip. Pardon me. So that's another free plugin you guys could use. So again, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of free stuff. We got to make these folks rich when they make paid stuff. And you can support them if you want on their Patreon. Here's a DBX compressor. So again, the list is so long that I'm just going to start making beats. But that's the list of mixing plugins. This company has one of my favorite EQs. It's called the UREQ, UREQ. And this thing is like, I've never heard an EQ this magical. I'll show you guys what that sounds like once we get to the mixing stage. Okay, so that's the mixing plugins. As far as the drum sounds, like I said, I did link this years and years ago, but you guys got to get the retro vintage drum machine samples. Maybe there's a mirror of the download somewhere online. But all these drum machines are what, if you're feeling stuck, you're probably going to have to go back in time to go to the source of the sound and then change it that way. So you're talking about weekend type sounds, New Jack Swing type sounds, 80s type sounds, 90s drum kits, all in here, all in this one pack. But again, it's not free anymore. It was free. Okay, what else is free? Free plugins. And I'm going to put you guys on the one more plugin library called the free, what is it called? The Free Orchestra by, I always mix the companies up. Is it Spitfire? No, wait. The Free Orchestra by Project Sam. Sorry, wrong company. The Free Orchestra by Project Sam. You said, what's the site? Let me copy it one more time. My fault. I was just trying to, what did I just do? Copy. Okay, here's the website for those free. Hold on, let me just copy and paste. All right, there's the website for the free mixing plugins. Now, as far as synth sounds and like good libraries for synth, Nexus, I mean, if you like the sounds of Nexus, if it inspires you, go for it. Nexus, the cool part about Nexus is it curates the sound for you. And it inspired me back in the day to make really dope beats at the time. So if it inspires you, buy it. I got a producer from you to send me beats. He loved the songs I sent to your live review last week. There we go. A little testimonial. Let me screenshot that. That's the power of networking. I'm just glad I can have a platform that you guys can use to get seen. And, hopefully, now we didn't do the beat battle on Monday because I want to pump up our beat battles beforehand. But for song feedbacks, it's Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. And that's when we have song feedbacks. So if you guys want to be seen by the community on Discord, we have 70,000 folks in there. Here's our Discord. So this is where we all network as far as getting work done. All right, that's the Discord link right there. Deli is here. What's up? Sebastian says, what's the best free sampler in your opinion? Oh, wait, is it free? Let me think for a second. The best free sampler. I would say the best sampler, before I get into the free ones, is one called ChipSynth OPS7. Let me see how much this costs. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. My fault. That's not the right one. Hold up. It's called ChipSynth FSC or SFC. This thing is nuts. But I think it costs money. So let me double check. ChipSynth SFC. Okay, also, if you guys are looking for free samplers, because you want to sample stuff, I'm trying to think, man, off the top of my head. I assume you want to like degrade the sound. You want to mangle, time stretch stuff in the sampler. It's a good question. Really trying to think. The best sampler. What do you guys think in the chat? The best sampler. Not a lot of samplers do like cool stuff, but this one is insane. Let me see how much it costs. I know it costs money. Let me just double check the price. It costs $20. That's nothing. I mean, $20 is something to somebody, but this synth is crazy. Let me just show you what it sounds like before I start gassing it up. So basically it's kind of like Contact in that it has a bunch of samples in here and they are actually dope. Let me switch the octaves. Give me a second. Okay, so the sounds in here are crazy. I would spend more time to try to give you guys a bunch of demos here, but this is dope because I think you can import your own sound in here. To triple check that, I haven't used this in a while, so let me just, before I start blasting out misinformation, let me at least try it. Okay, so you can drag in your own samples in here. And you can do some crazy stuff like, what is this? Decimal. I'm forgetting all the daggone buttons. So this is not a tutorial on this plugin, but that's one sampler. What are some samplers you guys said? Serato. Yeah, that's a really good one for manipulating samples. That's a good question. The best sampler. I'm going to have to do more research. Off the top of my head, free samplers. I mean, maybe Slice X, really, truly. But no, actually, the Ableton is just the best free sampler because you could do so much more in Ableton. You could time stretch per slice. You could, yeah, Ableton, that's my answer. Is Ableton sampler is the best. But it's not free if you don't have Ableton. Try Fruity Slicer. What's better than Edison or Slice X? Ableton? Let me load up Ableton just to show y'all why it's so important. It's worth the wait. So I'm going to load up Ableton. I was about to say Edison or Slice X. Omnisphere. For $500, you really gotta love Omnisphere. Even though it has all the top sounds and all the top quality stuff, it's something about Omnisphere that it either inspires you or it doesn't. I don't know what it is about Omnisphere. How can I link up with you? I'm on the West Coast. Link up to do what? I'm not really doing collaborative stuff at the moment. I appreciate you, but actually join our Discord. That's where I host any. If I'm like looking for sound designers or looking for content creators or whatever, that's where I put the blasts. Contact. Check. My fault, y'all. My audio glitched because Ableton was set to 48 kilohertz and FL was set to 44. So it switched my audio interface. My bad on the pause there. So let me show you something in Ableton real quick. Hopefully the audio comes through. Give me a second. I got to reset up my mic. All right, we are live and direct. But yeah, I think free. Let me check. Hold up. Check. Mic check. Okay, there we go. I mean, as far as samplers goes, let me just show you what Ableton can do before you start buying stuff, because Ableton is the go-to. I just learned this about Ableton. I didn't realize the sampler had this much stuff in it. So firstly, if you go to, can y'all see the screen? Wait, check. Can y'all see the screen? My stuff was only at 48 kilohertz because of a sample that I had. I recorded 44.1, and I even learned from a mastering engineer. Like, people overly focus on the higher sample rates. He actually prefers 44.1. So I mean, it's now when it comes to oversampling, that's a different conversation. But yeah, I recorded 44.1. Okay, y'all can hear. Okay, thank you. So in Ableton, if for those who aren't familiar, they have something called the sampler. So if you go to the instruments, you could double click on what's called the sampler. So in the sampler, here's where you load up your sample. So let's go to our sample folder real quick. I'm just going to close my eyes, pick a random folder. And we're in The Shining, I think by Jay Dilla, right? Okay, so I'm going to drag the sample into the sampler. And we're going to go to, I always click on the wrong one. It's not sampler, my fault. It's simpler. Tell me who named these plugins. Why is simpler that close to sampler? Hold up, my fault, wrong plugin. Simpler is what I meant to say. And I mix those two up all the time. Okay, so let's go back and drag the sample into simpler, my fault. And then go to where it says slice mode, and it will auto slice similar to Slice X in Ableton. So with Ableton 12 coming out, I still think you don't need 12 to have like fun in Ableton. Let me show you why this is so. Can y'all see? Let me double check. Yeah, you should be able to see. Okay, so let me show you why this is so important. And no Ableton guys told me about this, probably because they didn't want the secret out. And it's so obvious. But in the simpler, if you click on slice mode, you can move your slice range around. Okay. And you could also change the sensitivity of the slice. In other words, making the slices longer. Like the same way you have dull slicing, medium slicing, and slice X, or whatever the other one's called. You could do the same thing here. Now, the trick is to go to where you probably can't see it because my head might be in the way. But over here, it says, let me see if I can move some of these screens. It says warp. So if you click on warp, it will time stretch it to the tempo. Why is that important? Now, every single slice is tempo synced. So let me turn this up. Not that loud. I should plug in my controller real quick because I'm not hitting the keys that I want to hit, but let me hold up a second. This is worth plugging in the MIDI, sacrificing my computer battery. Give me a second. Let's unplug the charger. If Mac came with 2 more USB 3 ports, it'd be goated for music producers, but MacBooks only come with the 4 slots, and I need like 7 of them. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna play the metronome, and we're gonna listen. Let me speed up the BPM. Dun, 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 dun. I know it in my mind. When it's It's just way. All I'm saying is, it time stretches. Now, if I take that off, take the warp mode off, it goes baby, it slows down. Okay. It doesn't time stretch. Now, if you turn warp mode on in Ableton, and now you have it time synced to the actual tempo. So that's how you do it. Yeah, I tried those USB ports. It broke on me. It would disconnect all the time. It got a little tedious. But that's why Ableton is goated. Also, here's a little secret I learned from Sound Oracle. If you don't know Sound Oracle, he sound designed for Polo Dodon, Timbaland. He had his sounds go to work on Drake records. His sounds were on Beyonce. Like, a sound designer. He's a producer's producer. So in the bottom left, he taught me this in Ableton. If you click where it says filter and go to the type of filter at the bottom here, switch this to either MS2 or I think SMP. Let me open up the tab here. So on the tab, it also gives you information. It says, it's hard to read this small text. It says OSR is a state variable circuit with hard clipping. So if you put it on OSR, you can use what's called a drive knob. And let me go to the other ones here. And it says MS2 is a Saline key circuit with soft clipping. So that's the one he taught me about. Then he says SMP is a hybrid between MS2 and PRD. Long story short, you get different styles of clipping. So what you could do with your sample now is filter it, but then use the drive knob to add more harmonics. I'll exaggerate this and then pull back the volume so we're not blowing our speakers up. Now, this sample doesn't need it because it's just vocals, but if you had drums or a drum loop or something, you could run it through that clipper and it adds harmonic content to the clipper. So to answer your question, I know that was a long answer. The best free sampler is actually Ableton stock simpler. Yeah, simpler. That is the best one that I've found. It does time stretch. You have you could drive the signal. I think you can do certain loop functions in here. I didn't get too deep into it, but that's the one. I just had to load up Ableton to show y'all. I got to put respect on Ableton's name when it comes to audio manipulation. They're the best DAW for that. FL has some ways to go. All right, let me reverse read the chat. Sorry, y'all. I just had to give y'all that key as far as making beats. Marty Minnings on Twitch. What's up? Ross says, Clock of the Heart. Trying to buy Waves plugins, but error code 12 coming. What to do? Are you talking about like a Black Friday sale they're having or something? They always have something on sale. So I mean, when you work with Waves, chances are they're having a sale. So you're not really missing much. Would you say this is better or FL Studio for people who are into producing for a while? I mean, Ableton. Let's price contrast. Ableton is about $500 for the full version. Excuse me. FL Studio, you can get started for like $200 for the decent version called FL Studio Producer Edition. So it depends if people are willing to pay that extra for like small differences. Shout out to Sebastian. Thank you. How do you use less CPU? Get a better computer. I know that's not the answer you want. Or you can go to the options and go to audio settings, turn up your audio buffer length. This is the reason a lot of your plugins they click and pop all the time. It's because your buffer length is too low. So go to your go to options, audio, buffer length. Another reason you guys have CPU issues is because the plugins aren't designed well in the coding process. So a lot of the good plugins, they're wrapped around C++, which is like one of the fastest coding languages. And if the engineers aren't good at coding plugins, the processing could take a while. So it's just built into the plugin to suck, basically, to eat up all your CPU. Damien says, do you know how to remove the clicking sound in Gross Beat? Yes. So if you guys have clicking sounds in Gross Beat, let me show you what it sounds like first. So Gross Beat, what happens is you can open up Gross Beat, and I'm going to keep reading the chat. So give me a second. I just got to answer this question real quick. If you go to presets, for example, go to momentary, and then go to where it says half speed. You'll start hearing clicks if I kind of stop the song like in different places. Like it'll start repeating itself and kind of getting off beat. See how it's like kind of off beat? Okay, so what happens is in Gross Beat, if you click here, go to where it says trig sync in the bottom right, switch this to 4 beats, and then do post sync 4 beats. So now no matter where you start the song, it will always be on beat. Let me time stretch this because I didn't realize the sample wasn't time stretched. So now it doesn't matter where you start and stop. It will line up in Gross Beat. So a lot of the clicking comes from that trig sync and post sync. Or it's just the way the volume is set up. Whenever you go from like +1 to 0, or excuse me, +1 to -1 in audio, it creates a click because you don't have what's called a node to cross the 0 level. That's geeky stuff, but if you continue to have a click, it's something to do with your envelope. The attack is too fast or the release is too fast. So I'm gonna speed read through this chat to go upwards and sample them. How can I use drums or hi-hats from songs on YouTube? Easy. Let me show you the new FL Studio update. So let's grab a sample from anywhere. Let me just go to my samples folder. Also, if you guys want like all of the hip hop top samples, go to our Discord. I actually linked all of the top hip hop albums from Jay Dilla to Dr. Dre, Kanye West, who else? Just Blaze, Jay-Z. All the top hip hop samples are in our Discord and they're linked. And I'm going to get to everybody. I'm going to read backwards in the chat. Okay, so if you have a sample and you want the drums, let's go to a random folder like this one and click on this. Wait, so let me make sure I understand your question. How can I use the drums or hi-hats? Okay, so there's a new feature in FL Studio 21.1 called stem separation, but let me show you how I would use it firstly. So let's pick a song that has drums in it. All right, this is a dope loop. It's already chopped for me. So let's say you have this loop. I only recommend this with smaller audio. If you use long audio, this will take forever in a day. So do not do this with long audio. I'm just warning you now. In FL Studio 21.1, you now can click in the top left and go to where it says extract stems from sample. And all this means is the AI will go through and remove the vocals or remove the drums or remove the bass and separate them into different tracks. So let's extract stems from sample. Click where it says whatever you want from the sample, click it. So I want all of the stuff. Let's hit extract. And now it will print out the audio. But again, don't do this if you have long samples. It will take forever. Anthony says, I just got on the Discord channel. Thank you. Do you think Nicky Romero sidechain plugin is better? I use it for more movement than I do for like solving a mixing problem. So I do that when I want to add like a little volume dip on a sample just for groove. I reuse it every now and again. Nicky Romero sidechain plugin. My fault. I misread that. I thought you meant Kickstart. My apologies. I've never used that plugin to answer you, Zenith. I've had the gross beat problem for years. How can I? Okay, so to remove the drums, that's all you have to do. And now you can solo the drums right here. And now you have the drums from, an 80s record. So that's a new FL Studio feature that a lot of people might not know about yet. And now you can separate the sounds. Here's the bass. Now, it's not the greatest algorithm. Technically, I think Serato Sample has the best algorithm for sound separation. If I did a comparison, it's probably night and day. But I don't want to waste time trying to compare two plugins off of something so menial. And then you could arrange it, the beat. So let's say you like this, but you want to, arrange it. You could say, okay, I don't want the bass to come in yet. So then you just copy and paste it and make the bass come in later. So let me arrange this real quick just to show you why I would use this feature. And you would still need to time stretch the sample. So I know I'm skipping steps here for people who make beats, but I'm just trying to show them what you could do. So now we've arranged this to where the bass comes in over time and then the instruments. It starts off with the drums. So that's how you take this hi-hats and drums from a sample, from a record. Yeah, it's FL Studio 20. So it literally 4x sampling. Now, every sample in your sample library, you now have 4 more samples. We're going to see a new era of sampling in hip hop, and it's going to revive the traditional sound of hip hop, in my opinion. That feature is just, hip hop will just explode in the next couple of years from that feature alone. So I'm just making sure I'm reading all your questions here. Is FL limiter the only way to properly sidechain? To answer you, no, but to demonstrate it, it will take too much time here. So I'm not going to demonstrate my answer, but I'll say no. You could sidechain with any plugin that offers sidechaining. You could sidechain with the multi-band compressor. You could sidechain with Soothe. You could sidechain with. So to answer you, no. I have a video called How to Mix 808s and Kicks. That video is going to be for you. So look up a video, How to Mix 808s and Kicks, and then type in BusyWorks Beats after, and it will pull up a video. It just would take too much time right here to explain why. But no, to answer your question, no. Okay. Reading through you guys' questions here. Should you shout out Busy? Oh, thank you. Okay. Say, can you do a sample from the Culture Club clock on the wall? What's that mean? I assume that's a sample name. I forgot we're supposed to be making a beat. So I'm gonna show you guys the free plugins. I forgot. I went into question and answer mode. I completely forgot we're supposed to be making a beat with free plugins right now. Would you say this is better? Okay. How do you use less CPU? I'm just making sure I answer those questions. Starting to produce again. Should I make music at 48K? Not necessarily. I use 44.1. All right. I think I answered your questions. Just didn't want to miss any. Okay. I think I answered the questions. Okay. Now we can start making beats with free plugins. Can you tell me how to do a wobble effect to any vocal, like any trance music? A wobble effect. So are you talking about the pulsating, like that? Or do you mean like wobble? So 1 or 2, let me know what you mean by wobble with vocal effects. Not sure what you mean by that. All right. Now we can make beats. Yes, I was just about to open up Kontakt. So the first sound we're going to go to that's a free plugin is actually a Kontakt library. And the cool part, most people think you have to pay for Kontakt. They have something called Kontakt Player. You don't actually have to pay for Kontakt. They have a free version called Kontakt Player. And there's a company called Project Sam. I'll type it in the chat. Let me find my save folder. But the company is called Project Sam, and the Kontakt library is called The Free Orchestra. Okay, so The Free Orchestra by Project Sam. And why is this important? Because you get Hollywood quality sounds for free inside of Kontakt Player. There's 2 different things, Kontakt Player and then there's Kontakt. So Kontakt Player can load up The Free Orchestra by Project Sam. Pentatonic says, what's up? Do you like Kontakt? Yes. So let's go to the libraries tab here. And here it is. So there's a Free Orchestra 1 and 2. They have a second edition. So we're going to go to 1 first, because the second one, they're still loading up the sounds. They're going to unlock new sounds every month. Okay, so here is Free Orchestra 1. and you click on the screen and click whatever you want. So if you want like a Metro Boomin type sound, click on where it says heroic horns and then start. Now you got Metro Boomin horns. Let's make like a Metro Boomin type beat. Let's go to 144 BPM and we're going to play what's called in thirds. Okay, so it's either a minor third or a major third. You said the first wobble effect. Okay, the first wobble effect is called, I'm gonna just answer his question real quick and then we'll make this beat. It's called volume ducking or side chaining. So you can hear my volume is going out. There's a plugin called there's a plugin called Kickstart 2 you could use for that effect. So that's how you do it. So now even though I'm talking, it's going to the rhythm of the beat. And now it will block my voice to create a pulsation. So that's how all those EDM guys are doing that. Either that plugin or they're doing that manually. You missed my question. Can I make beats for free? I'm just getting started and want to make my own songs with my own beats. Yes, we're about to get into how to make beats for free. All right, so let's make it like a Metro thing. So what we're going to do is write in what are called thirds. We're going to use a minor third. And then we're going to drop it down to a major second here, which is basically a suspended second chord for those who are geeky enough to memorize music theory. We're going to take these top notes, hit control down. Now, the sample only goes down to a certain point. So as you can see, I'm playing these notes, but they don't trigger. So that's the only thing about this library is they don't sample, or at least the range of sample might be smaller. Oh, wow, we get a pretty limited range. Okay, so we don't have as many notes as I thought we did. Wow, we have like 0 notes to use here. So I'm taking the thirds basically and revoicing it so that it can actually fit this instrument's range. A little limited on that one. I didn't realize how limited that horn was, but regardless, it's free. Now there's another company called Ample Sound. I'll load up the website real quick. Ample Sound, Ample Guitar M Lite. So there's a plugin called M Lite, and I believe it's free. So it's a free VST called M Lite. If you want some demos, do they have demos? Maybe they don't have demos. But here's a video explaining what it sounds like. So it's a pretty dope acoustic guitar. Okay, so for a free plugin, pretty dope. So I learned about Ample Sound from a guy who was producing for YG, shout to Swish. Who did he produce for? YG, Post Malone. Man, I'm forgetting all the people he produced for. But his name is Jay Swish, and he produced for like a lot of pop and hip hop. So he told me about Ample Sound guitar because we were in the studio in LA, and I was like, "What plugin is that?" And he told me Ample Sound guitar. So if you guys want like a good guitar plugin, I like the Ample Sound guitar L is a nylon guitar, M is an acoustic guitar, and I like SC, which is a Stratocaster, and that's for like R&B, hip hop, electric guitar. If you're going for their bass, I like Ample Bass P, and J is cool too, but I like Ample Bass P. So that's sound selection. Okay, so now here's the full version. So Light is very similar. The cool part about this plugin company is when you play a chord, it revoices the chord for you, and it reshapes it to where you can play it like a real guitar player would play. Okay, so let me see. You guys sent a lot of questions in the meantime. You said, why do you not use Serato Sample? I do. For this video, it's not free, so that's why I didn't include it today because it wasn't free. I have a problem. He says, I want to delete permanently a VST from my disk, but whenever I refresh the scan plugin, it pops up again. Are you on Mac or PC? If you're on Mac, I'll show you how to navigate to that folder. So if on Mac, the problem with Mac is most plugins don't have uninstall buttons. So you have to go to your Macintosh HD, which stands for hard drive, go to library, go to audio, go to plugins, and then check the components, because this is like the plugin's engine basically, or like the stuff that builds up the plugin. Delete whatever the plugin component is. Like, if I wanted to get rid of the acid plugin, which, I might get rid of actually, just right click and delete this. Okay. And then go back and then go to your VST folder, look for the same plugin, and let's see if we can find it. Acid 5. Where is it at? Here it is. Okay, right click, delete that, move that to trash. Also in the VST3, you want to check that folder too and delete it here. Now on PC, it's the same process, but the folders are different names. So the PC, I think it's it's your C drive, program files. I think they mainly install their stuff on common files or something like that. And then whatever the plugin name is. So it's a little bit different to navigate there on PC. Worst case scenario, just type into ChatGPT, how do I uninstall plugins on a PC? It'll give you the step-by-step. But this is how you do it on Mac. Okay, and then you move all that to the trash. Make sure you type in your codes or whatever, and then it just gets rid of the plugin. So when you rescan, it won't keep rescanning the plugin. But also if it keeps popping up, go to your browser in FL Studio. And FL Studio has these like special files that it makes to index different plugins. So go to your plugin database, and if it's an effect plugin, go to the effects plugins, and then try to find the name of that plugin. So the plugin I'm looking for is a generator, aka a synth. It's called Acid V, and I'm going to right click and delete this file. Okay, so now it's completely wiped from my computer, that plugin. So now when I scan FL Studio, it won't keep showing up in my list and then loading with an error and all that type of stuff. So that's how you do it on Mac. PC is very similar. Again, I don't have the directories on top of my head to find the folders that I was talking about. Right. Did I skip somebody? Oh, no, he asked the same question. Do I like Kontakt? Do I use it often? My plugin is in Kontakt called Narcos at busyworksbeats.com/Narcos. So I've teamed up with Native Instruments, partnered with them to release the plugin. And so now you can load it right up in Kontakt, right from the native access. No weird install issues. It's right here. And now you can combine our sounds with anything from Kontakt. So yeah, I like Kontakt because Kontakt has all the real instruments that people are seeking for in certain synth plugins that they're not finding. And I found that it just has more organic or weird sounds in Kontakt that inspire me a lot more. Like this bell layered with the string is pretty dope. So you could do stuff like that that you normally wouldn't think to do in a typical synth, because to do it in a typical synth, you would have to load up multiple synths. But right in Kontakt, you could just stack stuff. So yeah, I like Kontakt for that reason. But I bought it in like the native, what's that thing called? The complete bundle years and years ago. It was way cheaper. You missed my question. Can I make beats for free? I'm just getting started and I want to make my own songs with my own beats. Yes, we're going to do that today. Can one use Serum presets without having Serum? Not to laugh at the question, but no. Basically, no. FXP files are built for that specific plugin, but no. Serum presets are to load up in Serum. There's another plugin called Vital. Some people make presets for Vital. It's like the Serum alternative, but I don't use it because it's just a little more complicated to use, in my opinion. But here's the Serum clone called Vital. It's free. There's a lot of people who put out presets for it, so you could check that out. But yeah, Serum is its own beast. Oslick is here. What's up? Is Kontakt free? Kontakt Player is free. So yes, they have a free version called Kontakt Player. And there's a lot of, just Google this, Kontakt Player free libraries, and you'll find a list of companies that put out free libraries for the Kontakt Player. So that's how I found out about the Free Orchestra and all these different companies that, just put out dope sounds, that people don't even know about. Free Orchestra, there's a lot of them. You just got to do your research. The Tape Choir, all of them. There's Violin. Is this free? This looks fire. Keep Forest Serum free. Let's see what it sounds like. All right. I mean, it looks cooler than it sounds, in my opinion. I thought that was a violin plugin. I read that wrong. Here's the violin that's free. It's called Embertone Arcane Friedlander Violin. So if you're doing drill beats or whatever, this one's free. That's fire. Larry O, shout out to Larry O. You free me. Larry O, shout out to you, man. I just love it that you rep the most, I don't think I know anybody from Rhode Island except for you. Repping Rhode Island and an FL representative. Shout out to you. We got Larry O, his curated library in the new Sounds tab. Can't say I wasn't a little taken aback that they didn't include your boy, but I was like, I got to eat it. I would rather see everybody else win. Okay, so here's Larry O. If you go to the new FL Studio update, go to where it says sounds, and then he's right here. He has a curated sample pack called Trap Collections, and it's his signature logo. That's super fire. And he's curated all these samples. Basically, FL Studio has now turned into Splice. They have their own built-in Splice. The smallest state in America. That's hilarious. So I don't know if it's free. It's a sign in to browse full content. I thought I was signed in, but so basically they have like Splice embedded into FL now under the sounds tab. If you don't see the sounds tab, you need to update your FL. And what else was I going to say about the sounds tab? I still don't understand what's free and what's not free. So let me see. Let me log in real quick. I just don't want to have my password on the screen, all on the screen. Just give me a second, y'all. I'm gonna log in and see if to browse. Check. Okay, to browse the full content. Oh wait, it logged me in automatically. Okay, give me a sec. It's still logging in. Okay, there we go. That was quick. All right, so it logged me into the sounds tab. But yeah, I was like pumped. I saw J Cactus on there. They got Lario on there, Arcade. I know Miss Simon Servita was on there. So here's the full pack, I guess, if I'm right. They got Murder Beats on here, Aiden Kenway. Hold on, my thing froze. Give me a sec. He says it's free now for everyone, I guess for a month. Then it will be a subscription for the cloud. Interesting. I didn't know that. Do you still have your one-shots available? I'm going to show people how to freak your one-shots real quick. Y'all want to learn a little secret in FL? Give me a yes in the chat if you want this one-shot secret. A lot of people didn't watch my one-shot masterclass. But Larry O has 1,001 one-shots. Let me find it. Where did I put it? Did I not put it on this hard drive? Freaky deaky. Darn it. Wait, I know I put it somewhere. Give me a second. 1,001 one-shots. Oh, it's on my other hard drive somewhere. Regardless, I'll pull a one-shot from just anywhere, just to show you guys something real fast. Okay, 1,001 one-shots. That's a lot of one-shots. And they're all different instruments, I assume. That takes a lot of time. So let me load up some one-shots real quick. Where are we at here? Vintage. Okay, I need like a longer sound. Like this one. Okay, so this one kind of has so you can right click, open this up in a new channel. And what I'm going to show you how to do is take this one shot and convert it to what's called a direct wave instrument. If you don't know what this means, you're basically going to take the one shot, add it to like a Kontakt-esque thing, and then you can make it your own sample library. So right click, create a direct wave instrument, and just save it anywhere. And then here's the settings. We're going to go low note C0, high note B7. Excuse me, sample every 4 keys in the key zone. We're going to do max velocity 127. Velocity layer is only 1, but if you're doing a real instrument, you would do 4 velocity layers. It just ups the size. And stop on silence, max 1 bar, blah, blah, blah. Copy all these settings and then hit start. You don't need it to be a monolithic file. That's only for if you want to package it up and ship it like as one file instead of 2 folders of samples and a direct wave. Long story short, just hit start. Check. Now I took that one shot from Lario's, 1,001 one shots, and now you can play it across your keyboard. To play it, I'm going to plug in my keyboard real fast. So if you have questions, put them in the chat because we're gonna answer them live. So give me your hardest questions you could think of. Can I download any of this to my iPad? I think FL Studio Mobile is way different. So now I can play with my keyboard as if it's a synth. Let me turn this up. So now you can really jam out. So that's how you would do it. And that's how you play your one shots as instruments. So grab the Larry O has, I don't know if he's still giving out the free 100, but he at one point in time, you guys should have grabbed it. It was 100 free one shots. That's just to give you a little sample. And then he has 1,001 one shots. So you can have 1,000 instruments. I just showed you guys how to level up your one shot game. Oh, on top of that too, I forgot, you can add reverb and chorus and delay too. I forgot. You can add those effects on there. So that's how you would do that in FL. Even if you don't have the paid FL, you could do that in the trial version. So you don't need the paid FL to do that. So to answer Leonard's question, you don't need the paid version. So that's how you take Larry O's one shots and make it a whole plugin basically. So Larry O, if you want a new product, something that I'm doing right now is taking all my one shots, and I have multi samples, so it's a little bit different, but basically creating this for people. So long story, the way I would do this is I would take the one shot. Let me clear this out for you. Let me just show you how I would do it. So basically you can create your own plugin for FL users. Basically this is like Contact. So I would just take your one shot, just drag it in, and now it's spread across the keyboard like that. And or if you have multi samples, you can click here, top left, go to flush all. And let me go to my one shots folder in the Beatmaker blueprint. Let's go to one shots because I have multi samples, which are a little bit different. And I'm going to hit shift in my browser, left click. So now these are all highlighted. You just drag and drop straight into Direct Wave. And now it's mapped to each key all the way down. So that's how you can create, and then save this as a Direct Wave instrument. Up at the top, save channel state as, or channel state as, and then package that up. And then now they have FL Studio plugins. I don't know if you make patcher plugins too, but you could also make your own patcher plugins and then ship those out. And then now you got a whole, because people don't even know they could do that with Direct Wave. So, or with one shots, they don't even know they could do that. So I'm just throwing out ideas. Shout out to Larry O, putting in work. Saber. So I'm just trying to answer everybody's question here. I'm planning to create a podcast where I can interview producers, beat makers, get underground artists to perform. Just do it. Start doing it. You want me to be your guest? Email me at info@busyworksbeats.com. I have somebody now asking me to be on their podcast. Forgive me for not remembering your name, but man, he wanted me to be on the podcast. I just keep forgetting to follow up. Just take a screenshot of this chat and then remind me that I promised to show up to the podcast. Just remind me. It's not that I'm trying to dodge you. I just forget stuff. Like my brain is wired to where I have to dump my RAM or my, short access memory so that I can do the next thing. Cause I'll, if I keep thinking about stuff, I'll get stuck on a task. Saber says, your motivation me beyond my limits. We haven't even made beats. You guys are you finding value in this. This is dope. Andal. Shout out to Andal. Ant is here. Jackie is here. We got Vanier on the beat. Zahar. What's up, Zahar? Can a visually impaired person use FL? That's an interesting question. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not sure if it's accessible. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a great question though. Logic Pro now finally has a master assistant built in. The only problem is you have to update to the latest Mac OS, which means you have to sacrifice all of your other plugins. So that's why I didn't update to Logic, or excuse me, to the latest Mac. That's why I didn't update my Logic, because it would force me to update my operating system to the latest Mac update. And there's a list. If you guys don't know, if you're on Mac, for example, there's a website called Production Expert. And I forget the exact website. Hold on, Mac compatibility. I think if you go to their website, productionexpert.com, they have a tab called compatibility. So anybody who's using a Mac, go here before you update your operating system. So go to productionexpert.com go to compatibility, and then click on your version of your Mac. So in this case, let's say you're contemplating going to Sonoma, which is the next Mac update. Click on Apple Mac Sonoma. And then on the right side, it says which plugin companies are supported by this new Mac update. So if you scroll down, the majority of these say no. And I'm like, okay, if the majority of plugin companies didn't change their plugins to work with the new update, then I'm not going to risk all of these not working just for Mac's, Apple Assistant Master thing, whatever that Isotope already does. So that's why I didn't update. But thank you for the tip. I wasn't trying to persuade people against you. I just wanted to let people know why I didn't update. So be careful if you're on Mac updating stuff because you might not be able to use your plugins. Oh yeah, Larry O collaborated with FL Studio themselves. The new FL update collaborated with DistroKid to allow you to sell your beats. I'm going to look into this company called Too Lost because we had Damon Ritter on and he turned me on to this company called Too Lost that he works with. So the next project we're going to release is going to be on Too Lost instead of DistroKid. You said, I'm on a Mac. I use a program called Audio Plugin Uninstaller. That's intense. It's crazy that every holiday gives out a lot of free plugins. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're feeding people. You know how like rappers give out free turkeys? It's because they want to be in the good graces of the people. Whenever somebody's feeding somebody, it's kind of like a pet. Like when you feed a pet, they're going to like you. So the more you feed, your audience, the more they're going to like you. So by the time you come out with something that they can purchase, they already like you, they know you, and they trust you to where it's a no-brainer and they spend the money with you. So a lot of these companies, even though they're doing free stuff, it's because they have a self-interest long-term because there's a law called reciprocity. And, it's kind of like when you go into a mall and they hand you that little toothpick with the chicken on it and then you take it and you eat it. There's a subconscious psychological mechanism that goes on to where you feel like you have to rebalance the energy. And the way you do that is usually by spending money with that company because they gave you something. There's even a psychological study done by Robert Cialdini on why that is. Or maybe not by him, but in his book called Influence, he talks about that. It's very hard to deprogram the reciprocity gene in humans. Please make a tutorial about MPC workflow. Very simple. If you're trying to do the MPC thing, here's the key. Load up your sample. And where are we at here? Let's just go to our sample folder. Let's click on a random folder. All right, let's say I want to sample this track right here. Let's right click. We're going to open it up in Slice X. Slice X. Here, I'm going to demonstrate this with my typing keyboard and my MIDI controller. We have Slice X open. Click on the Regions tab. Go to Auto Slice, or there's a button over here somewhere. Okay, here, this little slice button, you could just click that. Or go to the Regions tab, go to Auto Slice, and select Medium Auto Slicing. Now that you have that, you can right click up at the top and change your settings to C4, has to be C4, and then go to Layout Slice X. Now you can use your typing keyboard to trigger the pads. So now you can play your keyboard like it's an MPC. So that's how you can play it like that. You could do the same thing with your MIDI controller. You would just play it with your keyboard in that case. Please, okay, so that's that. What would be your first synth if you were a beginner? My first synth depends on what you determine what a synth is. If you're talking about sound design, my first synth would be Serum. If you're talking about just something that has good sounds in it as a beginner, I would look at, what has the most bang for the buck? Probably Expand 2. Okay, so those, if I was a beginner. But it really depends on what inspires you. There's no right answer because it depends on what you're, like the sounds that you like. Please make it to 2. Okay, so I know I've been answering questions. I almost forgot to make a beat today. All right, so I think I answered all your questions. Is Direct Wave included in Fruity? I think we answered that. Okay, good. All right, so let's make this beat that I said I was going to make. Now, I'm assuming when I say making a beat with free plugins that we are not counting samples as plugins, okay? So I might use some samples today. So we were making a Metro Boomin beat. I just forgot. I layered my plugin in here. So this is the free orchestra, which is completely free, but I layered it with Narcos just for extra texture. Okay, so that's what that bell sound is in the back. We're going to repeat this. Again, we're using that half step root note change. We're just keeping the top note the same. Basically, you're just playing a minor third into what's called a suspended second. If I raise these up an octave, that's what it looks like. That's all we're doing. Pretty simple stuff. Using half steps. Mandeep is here from India. Shout out to you. Native Motto is here. What's up? Oh, wait. Pierre had a question. My fault. Did it? I don't know if it popped up on my side. Pierre Blue. I didn't see any questions from you. Oh, wait. You said, how can I use drum? Yeah, I answered your question earlier. Maybe you weren't here, but rewind the live stream. I answered your question earlier about how to use the stem separator in FL Studio to get the drums from the record. What's the best bass plugin for acoustic bass? Or are you talking about an electric bass? I mean, the best. Trillion has the best bass sounds, period, but it's $300. So to answer your question, Trillion, if you want something a little more affordable, Ample Sounds bass P is good. What else is there? You know, you can also look into the Chip Synth SFC. Chip Synth, because it's $20 and you get really good sounds in it. We got Poland in the building. Let's make this melody here. So I'm using free plugins, and you might ask, how do we create a melody from D sharp to C? So what we're going to do is invert this up an octave, and we are going to think about how to use C and D sharp, which is the minor third, but also let's map out the full chord, which would be the minor, which is 0, 3, 7 as far as chord codes go. And then 8, 9, 10, that's the minor 7th, 11, 12, 13, 14, minor 9th. So we're going to revoice this chord and not play every single note. I'm going to kind of give you little music theory gems here and there. Basically, a chord is identified by the third and the seventh, because when you really map it out, the third and the seventh are basically the same thing. This and this are the same distance apart. So that's what I mean by the chord identity. What is mapped out by that third. So if you wanted to play the chord and the third is like in the way, you could just delete the third, but we're still perceiving this as C minor 7. So we don't have to play all these notes, is all I'm saying. And let's strum these out. Pick the notes. And that's how you get a really unique sound, omitting certain notes of a chord. So let's copy these. But it all starts with music theory. Now, if you didn't know music theory, you wouldn't think to start down here and then work your way up. It wouldn't be intuitive. Andil is here. Hive is, I never used that plugin before. Okay, now at the end, if you guys struggle with your melody, Cryptic, what's up? If you guys struggle with melody, try using half steps. I've noticed a lot of people don't realize how powerful half steps are. The reason they're so powerful is because they want to resolve back down. So we're going from the root to the fifth to a sharp fifth, and that sharp fifth wants to come back down to a fifth. Now let's use some free mixing plugins. Let's hit Control L, send that brass to the mixer. What a lot of people don't realize is how much free stuff is in FL Studio. So before I get into all the third-party stuff, let's talk about how to get this sound more unique. Firstly, I'm going to use Fruity Delay 3 as not a delay. So the shortcut is turn your feedback level all the way down, turn your delay time all the way down, and everything else in this plugin becomes a sound effect. So I can turn up the modulation and then turn your dry levels down too. And this becomes a free RC20 plugin. Donor says, busy works. Long time you don't make a reggaeton beat or dancehall. Or excuse me, reggae or dancehall. Yeah, I mean, I think I tried to do reggae once, a reggaeton. It just didn't connect with my audience, unfortunately. They didn't really care for it. I wish the audience was bigger so that we could do different genres, but you know, I got to serve the most amount of people. So that's why I got to focus. Okay, Okay, so let's listen to the brass. Now it has a pitch wobble. I'll exaggerate it. Now, if you're really advanced, you can go to song mode and then record notes and automation and then move this knob over time. What's up, DZ? Or Dizzy? And now you have your own RC20. Okay, so now if I go back, this knob will move over time. So that's how you create more unique like pitch wobbles than just like a basic vibrato. Also, you can record the rate so that you can slow it down, speed it up. I usually speed it up at downbeats. Okay, so now we have a super unique tape sound. So that's how you get your melodies to really have a vibe without doing too much if you want that RC20 type sound. Another thing you could do is make this a chorus plugin by turning the dry level back, and then usually mess with the time off with the offset. And now you have your own chorus plugin. Travis Scott has a new. Wait, did you listen to that Travis Scott AI Fourth Dimension album? That sounds crazy. No, I didn't. Fourth Dimension. I think it was on my YouTube. I was so shocked. I'm like, y'all know this isn't Travis Scott. And YouTube just allowed it. Let me look that up on my thing real quick before I forget. Travis Scott. How you spell that? Travis Scott. Fourth Dimension. Oh, here it is. Fourth Dimension. I'm going to listen to it after this. But yeah, AI music is... Oh, real quick news. If you guys want music news. Oh man, where did I get that news from? I think Music Business Worldwide. So here's something that you guys need to understand about AI. Remember when all those companies, like, you know, all the top record companies were talking about AI is the devil and it's robbing people or whatever? All those companies were trying to do was scare you to stop using AI because they wanted to train their own AI on their own artists. Because I had a record label executive reach out to me about how to clone his own artist's voice. Because they're also in charge of estates for people who have passed away. And if they have the master recording, they can grab the actual acapella, train the AI, and now the AI has the absolute quality of the acapella, whereas most people are training their AI off of acapella making software, which is not the highest quality. So you can imagine if you're a record label like Sony, Warner, Universal, and you want to, you know, clone basically every artist that you have to use their likeness, make different songs, do different stuff. It's like take your masters, run it through the AI system, and then train all the, you know, it just takes a long time to train that much. But anyhow, Sony Music debuts generative AI music project with Pink Floyd's David Gilmour and the Orb. And I told y'all this was coming, but nobody wanted to believe me. So in short, what they're going to be doing is allowing the masses who aren't into making music to make remixes using the artist's voice and using like data that they give the AI to where they have a customized version for themselves, but it's in the style of the artist. So every album in the future will probably be an independent, or excuse me, not independent, but an individual experience. It's going to be different. You know, the same way Kanye went back and changed out Wolves. Now imagine we can all go back and have our own version of Wolves. That's what I see the music industry morphing into, is a highly, highly customized experience. So they're rolling this out now. So if you guys don't believe me, Sony Music themselves are rolling this out on behalf of Pink Floyd's David Gilmour and the Orb. Okay. And also there was some other news that I can't find right now, but yeah, so you got to pay attention to whenever they demonize something, it's because they want to scare you away from it so that they can benefit from it. And yeah, there's a bunch of news about the music business, but we're not going to bore y'all to tears about that. Just letting you know, AI is being used by top record labels right now. It's happening. Love to see you do a bounce tutorial similar to the one of the top 10 beat battler guys. Deed, Jem, Kane, Kiyomi, Miramax, Nickel. No one really can figure it out. They got to spill the sauce. Those guys can make way better beats than I can. So they gotta share their sauce. I do have Marty Menning's drum kit though, and I do have Keon's drum kit. So Marty Minning does offer drum kits. That's half the battle, is finding the right sounds. So it looks like he gave you his legit sounds. Okay, so you can go find that. It's called Aquila Volume 3. Yeah, this is like a bounce beat. That's a great idea. So firstly, bounce is about truncating notes. Okay, so if I'm using these long drawn out violin sounds, I'm not going to get a bounce. Bounce is actually the mutes that you place in your music. It's the gaps. It's the in-between stuff. Pierre Blue, I'm not sure why your question isn't popping up. Maybe it's a certain keyword in there. Just give me certain keywords. My YouTube is set up so it blocks certain words because people misuse it all the time. Do you think AI will replace artists? No, I think what I'm trying to say is that the top will be at the top even longer. So like if you're a celebrity and you have a personal brand like Drake, who else? Ariana Grande, French Montana, Young Thug, YG, Post Malone, Kanye West, all them, they can clone themselves to basically imagine a world with 100 Drakes. You know how many hit songs you would get? So that's what's going to happen, is there's going to be more celebrity power. But the problem is that's going to eat away from the people who aren't necessarily celebrities in the middle. And that's going to squeeze the middle, it's called. So you're going to have hyper wealthy artists and you're going to have super poor artists, in my opinion. That's why when Spotify made that rule about the 1,000 song plays, I was like, this is the biggest power grab we've ever seen in the music industry. And the 99.5% of people make above the threshold, but I wonder if they're counting every song. Like, if I have an album and your album gets more than 1,000 plays, that's one thing. But if every song on my album has to get 1,000 plays just to get paid for the song, then just because the song got skipped doesn't mean people don't value the album to pay me for, So that's the problem that I had, along with other problems. But we can go on and on about that. Bounce beats. Hold on, let me make sure I'm answering your questions real quick. Any advice on which plugins for trap beats? It's more than plugins. I would say it's more drum samples. Come join us on Discord. We have all the drum samples you would ever need for trap. It's more of a sample thing and a manipulation of a sample thing. We'll make a trap beat today and a bounce beat. I'll do it real quick. Game need you a little go in depth on the low end. My only issue with beat making is probably just the sounds you're using, but I'll get into that. Nothing don't wrong. I learn a lot from you, and then what I do, I turn it in my own way by making dancehall beats. Oh, gotcha. Okay, let's make this trap beat, and then we'll move into the bounce beat. What do you think about new FL Function cloud mastering? I tried it; it didn't sound different, so I don't use it. Okay, so for example, a trap plugin would not be a plugin; it would be an effect. So let's call this Trapify. We're going to take these sounds, we're going to route them to this mixer insert. We're going to use free plugins like Grossbeat. I think it's free. I don't know. Actually, I don't know if this is fully free, but go to presets, go to momentary, go to half speed, click on the trigger sync, set it to 4 beats, and then 4 beats. And now we're slowing down the melody. And this is a lot of the trap sound is a slowed down sound. And that's 90% of the sound. Also, you can add hyper chorus, which is a new FL plugin. But the sounds already has chorus on it, so we're not going to triple the chorus. Now, if you struggle with trying to get your beat to sound cool, you could also double click. Actually, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to render this to audio, consolidate from track start. Render this to audio. The reason I'm rendering it is because in order to pitch this up an octave, I can't do it with the MIDI because the plugin doesn't have that in its sample range. So let's click here, go to make unique, double click, go to mode, stretch mode, and then pull this up 1 octave or 1200 cents. So now you have 2 different sections playing technically the same notes, but one is lower, one's higher. And you'll hear a difference. From what country is that? All right, shout out to D1. I'm not sure what country that is. So that's how you can arrange your beat to sound a little more, give it more movement without changing the notes. You could just pitch it up, pitch it down. It's that simple. Okay, so again, 99.99% of the trap sound is the drums. So if you join our Discord, we have what's called the Lunch 77 drum kits. and we have the link for it. So just go to discord.gg/busyworksbeats, and let's use the Metro Boomin drum kit. I also have 120 808s in our download section. So check the free sounds and free drum kit section because I have 120 808s that are the top 808s. We dropped that for 808 day. So you just pick a kick. Let's use this one. I don't have time to like go through every kick. Grab a snare. Main sounds or snare in your kick. And just having the right sounds is like 90% of trap. Let me see. Closed hi-hat. So you need a closed hi-hat, you need a snare, you need a kick drum, and an 808 most of the time. Okay, so let's move this. I realized my screen was like half the size. YG, what up? Rainbone, what's up? Now let's add some drums in here. I'm just going to quickly make a trap beat. You guys have seen me make trap probably 3,000 times. So I'm not going to bore y'all with like the basics of trap right now. We'll do a bounce beat more so. Where to find free sounds? You're going to have to rewind this live stream. I gave all the keys earlier. Oh, you mean where in the Discord maybe? Hold on, let me load it up. I thought you meant something. I thought you meant the free plugins. So as Discord updates, peace out, Anthony. Thank you. Appreciate y'all for being here. I haven't even made a beat. I was trying to answer your questions while you guys were here. All right, so again, fill each hi-hat step every 2 steps. It's your basic rhythm. Differences, you're going to put your snare on the 3 count and the 7 count, which is just turn the metronome on, count 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Oops. Put it on the 8 by accident. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it already sounds like a trap beat. I didn't do much except for add effects to the melody and add some drums. All right, let's go to our thing. Go to our server. Let's go to, so to find samples in our Discord, go to the left side where it says downloads. If you don't see downloads, click on the server name where it says BusyWorks Beats. Click show all channels. Okay, so you can see everything, and then go to the left side, go to where it says drum kits, and this is where we have free drum sounds. Here's the link for Lunch 77. You have 100 808s for free right here. A bunch of video game sounds in here. It's like everything's there. Then go to free plugins, and this is where I'm listing out all the free plugins that I find interesting. So all this stuff is in our Discord. Oh, also, I forgot to show y'all the hip hop samples tab. If you click on where it says downloads hip hop samples, we have all of the samples from all the top hip hop records in here. Jay-Z, Kanye West, Dr. Dre, Kanye West, Digital Planets, Mos Def, Kendrick Lamar, all the top people. All the samples are right in our Discord linked. So that's like, basically we have the entire, like if you've ever played Minecraft, we basically have a chest full of diamonds in our Discord. That's what the equivalent is. What's the best dancehall drum kits? I would type in dancehall drum kit Reddit because Reddit has some of the best sound selectors I've ever seen. Dancehall drum kit Reddit. Type that in. Do you know how to make your ample guitar on time? Because it's slightly delayed. Mine isn't delayed. Sounds on time to me. But worst case, if it is delayed, just print it to audio and just use this slip tool right here to move the audio a little earlier. Hit Alt and then left click. So worst case scenario, if you did have to fix something like that, I would fix it in the audio. Then you just need an 808. So let me show you what these 808s that I compiled for you sound like. Find it. So it's also in our Beatmaker blueprint at busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker. This is our like pseudo Black Friday deal because I have something else for Black Friday. But if you go to busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker, I have a new, it's like 400 drums in here. I just added 100 one shots. So we have 600 one shots in here. I have, how many project files? I think I've added a bonus of 100 and something project files for FL Studio with the Ultimate Producer Stash as a bonus. I have 140 MIDI plus the other MIDI. I forget how many MIDI that is total. I have, what else is in here? 100 and something Serum presets all in here. Plus, it comes with 3 of our beat making courses. So it's a pretty crazy value for Black Friday. So if you do want to see what that's all about, go to busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker. Do I have a BeatStars account? I do, but I don't use it. I was going to do a whole campaign around BeatStars to like see what it is from you guys' perspective, but I'm still working on my secret YouTube channel for the type beats. I'm trying to see if I can hack the type beats and then show you guys what the secret is. So before I get the results though, I want to, then I'll move to the BeatStars thing. What is the best reverb plugin? My favorite is called Altiverb 7, but that's a $500 to $700 plugin. But next in line after that would be, like, I'm trying to think, my reverbs. Would be a Real Verb by UAD. But as far as free reverbs, you have Supermassive by, what is that company called? Valhalla. That's free. Sounds good. Where to find the Discord? Here's the link right here. Hold on one sec. Discord.gg/busyworksbeats. Can you recommend a great headphone mixing and beat making? For mixing headphones, I used to use, where'd they go? I put them somewhere. Where the heck they go? Where'd they go? I don't know where I put my headphones at, but I used to use the Sennheiser. Here, I'll type it in the chat. I used to use the Sennheiser HD600s. Those were good. Now that I've heard what headphones can actually sound like with these on my head right now, these are called Audeze MM500s. These are like the craziest things I've ever heard in my entire life as far as headphones. Audeze MM500s, nothing compares to these that I've heard. How do I explain this? It almost, let me think of a food item. I'm trying to think, what's something that gets watered down as a food? I'm trying to really think. It's like the different, it's not going to be a good analogy, but it's like, I can't think of a good analogy. It's like going to, here's a kind of good analogy. All right. So the other headphones, whether it's Sennheiser or whatever, they just sound like paper. These headphones, because they're magnet based and has all this technology in it, it sounds like I'm actually listening to speakers. The only difference is you can't feel the actual lows. You can't feel your body like feeling what a low frequency feels like. So that's the only thing headphones can't do. And currently, at least with our technology. But the difference would be like if you had Tyson chicken from the grocery store, fried chicken patties, and then you compared that to a real Chick-fil-A sandwich. That's the difference of like quality. Okay. So the MM500s, but they're like $2,000. They gave these to me. Okay. But I couldn't say anything less than these are like way past 10 stars. But if I knew that I could get headphones to sound this great, I wouldn't have bought $4,000 speakers for the commercial studio. I wouldn't have bought all these other things that I don't necessarily need. So that's a hard decision. Like, how do you judge that cost? So it's up to you, but that's what I use. DT770s. Yeah, the beat makers used to use those and swear by those. But anyway, you need open back headphones for mixing. Closed back are going to give you like more resonance to where you're thinking that you're boosting something, but you're actually not. They're good for recording though, closed back headphones. So look for open back headphones, and Sennheiser is just usually a go-to. HD600s, or I used to have the HD 598s. They might be cheaper. Those are the only headphones I've ever liked. But again, when you compare it to the real deal, it's like not even close. I'm going to be making projects sometime soon. I'm trying to figure out how that will work as far as the timing, but I'm hoping to get at least an EP type project out. The only thing is, to make music for me, I have to feel like a reason to make it. If I don't have any like energy behind it, it's just like a bunch of sounds. It seems pointless to me. But I used to have an album up. I took it down because TuneCore was saying that my credit card was about to expire, and they just took the whole album down because the credit card expired. I was like, F this. Why do people put their stuff on streaming? It seems stupid to me. But yeah, I have 5,000 videos. Like, if you want to see the improvement on my sound, you can go through my YouTube stuff. I pretty much take it all the way to the end sound, except for vocals on YouTube. with the Sennheiser for gaming. What about Audio Technica? I have those for recording. They're really cheap. I think they're called let me figure it out. Hold up. Audio Technica headphones. I think they're called the ATHMs or something. They're like $20. They're really good for recording. They get the job done. You don't need to spend more than $20 or $50, whatever it is. They're like $20 headphones. I think they're $50 maybe. Like, you don't need the highest quality headphones when recording. The only purpose of recording headphones is to hear yourself. That's it. You don't need the mix in your tracking headphones. An amp. Tomorrow I will get my new headphones I have ordered online. Will 250 ohm work fine with iMac without amplifier? I don't know about ohms and all that. Sorry to tell you, not the guy. I do have a headphone amp though called the Drawmer MC 3.1. And this was recommended by Mixbus TV, if you guys are familiar. He's like an expert mixing engineer. He recommended this, and this is what I use to monitor my speakers, my headphones. I could solo different bands. I could do a lot of stuff on it. So I don't know if it has an amp built in. I'm not sure, but I'm sure the converters are really good. Again, when it gets to tech stuff like hardware tech, I'm not a tech circuitry guy. I don't know about. I studied physics in college. I know about ohms, resistance, voltage, capacitors, but I would have to like restudy that to get that deep. So you need different headphones for different things? Yes. Because if you use open back headphones while you're recording, let me show you what happens. I'm going to turn up my volume real quick. You're going to hear an echo very quickly. You hear how you... Let me turn off my my noise gate. Give me a sec. So the problem with open back headphones when you record, let's say you're playing a beat, it gets into the microphone. So you hear this echo. And you're not going to have a clean recording. So let me just test record real quick to show you what I'm talking about. Once upon a time, we was on the grind. 14 years old, looking for mine. Okay, so whatever. So now you listen to the vocal. You're like, that was a good take. That was a good take. But then you listen back and you hear hi-hats in the vocal, in the audio. Once upon a time, we was on the grind. 14 years old, looking for mine. Now it's better because I have a Shure SM7B, and I probably didn't crank the volume up as loud as I would listen to a beat. Now, that was a pretty good take, actually. The hi-hats weren't that loud, but you hear the hi-hats in the vocal, and it's kind of hard to mix when you have other stuff in the way. So that's why people use what are called closed-back headphones. Closed-back headphones prevent that leaking, it's called, into the microphone. So they're good for recording. Lexicon Plate, that's the reverb I was trying to remember. Lexicon Plate, well, I haven't used that in so long. I said I was going to make a bounce beat, so let me do what I promised real quick. So that's trap. Let's go to this trap kit. Here's where the 808s are. Again, we can sit here all day and make different beats, but really trap is kind of simple. I forgot I'm on the wrong keyboard layout, so let me do that one more time. Hold up. Now, most people nowadays, they don't even add kicks to their beats. They're just all 808s. So again, you would have to level and do all this stuff. You know, making a beat, you can watch my other beat making videos as far as making a trap beat. I just think we all kind of know how to make trap beats, and that's going to bore everybody else to tears. So that's why I'm saving the headache of people like, you've done this 3,000 other times. So again, at that point, it's leveling and adding a kick. Let's talk about bounce beats. Let's try to make a bounce beat. Now, also with bounce, they have a lot of samples. They use a lot of like vocal chants and like sound effects from different things, to where when they do a drum fill, instead of it's like 1,000 different sound effects. So it might go like, you know, it does all this stuff. The real key though is that you're truncating the sound. So if you're going for a bounce beat, let's tap it out. So we're at 94 BPM. Let's use some decap sounds. He's #1 on Splice right now, apparently, for weeks. So I think it's his, is it 11? Let me see. Hold up. Before I start making up stuff, let's look up Decap Splice Pack. He's number 1. I just forget what the title of it is. Anybody who uses Splice, how do you check the top charts? How do I do that? Sounds. Where's the chart? The chart used to be really clear and really easy to find. I don't know how to find it anymore. Let's do hip hop. What happened to the Splice chart? That was like the whole point of Splice, because they had a chart. Dang, they don't have the chart anymore? How do you... I might have to log in. Maybe that's why. Let me log in real quick. Don't try to hack my Splice account either. I'm going to beat you up. I don't even have credits on here, so it doesn't matter. Hold up, let me tell them I know what a bicycle is. Also, you guys didn't know, if you during those reCAPTCHA things, you're training AI, by the way. Every time you click a tile, you're teaching AI what stuff looks like. Just fun fact. Okay, so if you go to sounds, okay, you have to log in to see the charts. That's stupid. Let's go to charts. That doesn't make any sense to me. If I was somebody who's coming to Splice for the first time, I want to know what's at the top. You know why I think they did that? Because they want you to sign up to see the chart, so that you have to at least have an account, because these guys also sell sounds other places. So they don't want you to go to Splice, see what's top number 1, and then Google it for a cheaper price. That's what I think. I think it's whack that they make you log in to see a chart. That's stupid. Okay, anyhow. Decap's Drums That Knock 10. Okay, he did send this to me. So Decap sent this to me before it launched, called Drums That Knock X or 10. So this would be a perfect drum kit for bounce, because his sounds are built like they're very abrupt. And I'll show you little techniques. First, let's start with the groove. All you need is kick, hi-hat, snare. If you start getting into really fancy grooves, you're going to make it harder. Kick, hi-hat, snare. We want nice, short, truncated sounds. Let's just use that one. And even better if you have like a Foley sound, but we'll get into Foley in a second. And let's find a snare. Now, usually bounce beats have clap type snares. It's not like a Benny the Butcher snare. It's more like that. Is it possible to add sustain to the Flex plugin? Some sounds aren't, if they're not looped, you can't sustain them, no. With such power AI possessed, can one still consider music as a career? Yes. I was just trying to say earlier that AI is going to make the top richer, basically. I wasn't trying to make it sound dismal. Okay, so now we're going to add the snare. So remember, we're at 94 BPM. Get my nasally. It's getting a little nasally. My nose is getting a little dry, y'all. Hold up. Let's make this bounce beat. So another thing about bounce is they hit you with unexpected stuff, like surprises. So instead of the clap going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like it might drop stuff, it might move stuff, or it might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know, so those small switch ups are what create what we consider bounce, because it's tricking the listener. So let's do it. 1, let's go back. 1, 2. Let's just start with a steady snare to get people expecting it on the 2 and the 4. And let's make this unique on this snare take here. Let's double click and let's move this snare around. Can you make a stem? Yes. Actually, to answer your question, if it's already stripped down to the instrument, drum, or vocal, there's nothing to extract as far as the AI knows. So no, to answer your question, actually no. Okay, so this second snare, we're going to delay it like a beat, a step. Boom, clap. So that's small change up. Now let's get into the hi-hats. Now, most people, when they're making, it's a bad habit from trap, but we usually write our hi-hats by filling each 2 steps. For bounce beats, you have to create gaps. So if I were to just add some hi-hats in here, like this, it takes away from the bounce, because again, bounce is all the in-between stuff. Cheddar says, Busy Works got me through this producer life. Shout out to you. Shout out to Grand Prix Beats. Donner's here. Donor. Dev Trend, what's up? Crizzy Beats. Maya OW. Where we can sell our hip-hop type of beats for YouTube. Background music. How to start a simple, structured business with making music. That is a large question. I need you to go back and watch my other 2 lives that I just did about where to get traffic. So you need to go back and watch my last 2 live streams about it's called Music Producer Live and Music Producer Mastermind Live, and also what did I name it? I named it like Spotify streams, and the other one's called something else. I forgot. But watch my last 2 live streams. It'll explain a lot of what you're asking. So let's go to the hi-hats. Now again, we're at 94 BPM, but we tend to forget how long patterns were in the 90s. Like when we're listening to a beat in the 90s, the kick changed up probably 10 times in 8 bars. Whereas nowadays we only write 1 bar of music and we're like, why does this beat sound repetitive? It's because you're repeating 1 bar of stuff over and over and over and over. So let's hit Control G for the hi-hats and let's start adding little change ups. Now, also you can add little in-between notes. So we're going to change the snap to grid to 1/4 beat. It's more than just gaps. It's also velocity sensitivity is in bounce. So we're going to add these little, we call them like ghost snares or like ghost hits by lowering the velocity. So it goes tap, 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 like that. Or we could do tap, 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 tap. Okay. And then we can get rid of that. And West Coast music does this the best because they understand how important gaps are. And again, you have to trick the listener to expect one thing and then not do that thing. Okay, so I'm adding these ghost notes for that extra bounce. That's how you create these grooves. Okay, so I'm not going to make the hi-hat so complicated, but we're going to copy this pattern. Thank you, Hepe. Let's copy this over. And now let's add a hi-hat glitch in here somewhere. Now the question is, where do we add a hi-hat glitch? Usually for this type of thing on the downbeat. So let's hit Control L to elongate this note. Hit Alt U to change it to this chopping style. Hit accept. Now I don't know why this is not. That's weird. Because we chopped the note, but it's not sounding like a chop. That is a glitch. I think we found a glitch. Hold on. I'm going to do it manually, but I don't know why it's glitching like this. Wonder why that's happening. Let me figure out. I'm trying to go through my head why that would happen. Sometimes FL on Mac just glitches. So you saw my screen. I have 4 notes, but it's only playing 1. I don't know why that is, though. And you can feel the groove and like the movement without even getting into the other stuff. We don't even have a kick yet. We don't have an 808. It's just hi-hat snare. You got to strip it all the way down to the basics. And that has to move before you move on to the next thing. You said, I'm having problems selling my beats and using the internet for making money from my music because of the sanctions. Many sites are blocked and I can't complete transactions because that sucks. Ollie Jaw. The only thing is that's a, what do you call it? A geopolitical issue. And that's something that I don't know the answer to. I hate to say it, but producers don't care where you live. Like if you're about loving music and doing what's on your heart, then do that. Sorry to hear that you get restricted just because you live underneath somebody else's authority. Isn't that crazy? Ow, freak. Vortex, what's up? It's like they let you use the apps, but you can't use the apps. That makes no sense to me because you're typing in the chat right now. I'm trying to figure out why this won't let me. This is weird. I have 4 notes and it's playing 1. If anybody could solve this issue, the loop points, I don't think it's a loop issue. It's not a sample issue. I think it's just an FL glitch. It's a glitch. We glitched it. What I'll do, I'll copy this to a new pattern. Maybe it's something about the pattern. Who knows? Yeah, there we go. Something about the pattern that was messing up. That was weird. So listen to the beat bounce without any kicks. You said music is a wide area, but we only make beats with free plugins. What else can we try to motivate ourselves to make something different? Record yourself. Instead of using a bunch of packs and all this, just record yourself on your phone. Record different sounds around you. That will make you have fun with your music a lot more. Because you could turn a simple finger snap into a dope beat or simple into a dope beat. So sample stuff around you. That's going to make it fun again. Okay, so with the hi-hat, for bounce beats, we're going to go to the hi-hat. click on the wrench tool, turn up time shift just a little bit. Or what you could do if you want to get really gritty and like hands-on. Let me think of a quick way we could do this. You can go to the channel rack and they have what's called the drop down here where you can control different things. So let's click on where it says shift, and you could shift. Oh, it had shift on it. I don't know why that was. I wonder why that was. But you can shift the notes here. So like I can delay the second note, and you can go through and delay certain notes. So like make it kind of like not a perfect timing all the way through. So I'll do it on the second hit for each one. It just delays that second hi-hat. So instead of tap, 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 it goes tap, 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 tap like that. It just delays it just a little bit. Then delay it. And that small little time change, the ear latches onto that time change. Again, what are we playing upon? Humans' expectation. They're expecting the beat to hit at a certain time. And then when we change that up, it throws them off. And that's what creates excitement in your beat as far as bounce beats and movement. Okay, let's add this clap. I mean this kick. And then we'll add the percussion. Can you recommend other channels on making beats? Channels that I would recommend. Alex Rome is good for EDM. Who else? Making beats. J Cactus is good for drill stuff. Produced by Jack has really good sound design ideas. Produced by Jack. Sound design. I don't really have people that I watch as far as tutorials for music production. I'm trying to think. Beat making tutorials. I know there's channels out there, but as far as like who I could truly recommend and say you will get new techniques from this person, there aren't that many. There's a lot of people making them, but they're not like showing you much. Young Chambers. Actually, that's a really good channel for trap, music theory, R&B. He's worked with a lot of folks in the industry as well. I would actually say, yeah, Young Chambers first and then everybody else. That's my list. No shade to anybody else who makes videos. It's just certain people teach you stuff, certain people don't. You know, like a lot of the YouTube tutorials now are not tutorials. It's just people like doing challenges, or like Kyle Beats kind of has like a storyline behind his. Or, you know, other channels are doing more so like either, what do you call it? Music appreciation. They're not really like teaching anything though, in my opinion. And there's no shade to anybody. Dahmer says, can you recommend, okay. If you're looking for somebody else to learn from, you said Curtis King. I mean, does he do tutorials? I don't think so. You said, to you structuring music is a huge task or mixing, because sometimes structure needs on hand to be mixed at the time. Yeah, you got to go back and watch my videos, OW, because I have a lot of videos that you're talking about on my channel. Some people say that with a decent mic and the right mastering and mixing skill, you could sound professional. I just bought an AT2020 USB. I don't know that mic off the top of my hand. We have 5 minutes left. So what I'll do is finish this bounce beat. Dahmer is here. Thank you. Oh, Durkee. Yeah, there's some people that I'm forgetting that are showing you how to do stuff. It's just, anyway. So let's add this kick. So another part of bounce is the kick is very spread apart. And they usually put a kick before the snare, like that. And they'll delay their kicks. Okay, so I'm going to go to time shift, delay the kick. Now this kick is a little more boxy sounding than what I thought. Then I'm going to grab another kick. Something that's less, there we go. I need something like that. Less square sounding. If you look at that last waveform, it actually is squared off areas, which show me that it's clipping, and it creates that boxy square tone, more for EDM. So like this kick, because it's more rounded. Okay. And again, the goal is get people to expect the kick, take it away. Is it necessary to have an interface? No. Actually, the only thing you need as a music producer, I've done this video before, you just need a pair of iPhone headphones and a computer. That's it. Nothing else. You literally don't need anything else. All this other stuff that we have is just, we're just trying to experiment. Okay, so we hit Alt and hit Control Q to quantize. So I'm going to program these kicks. Okay, so the next thing is truncated melodic sounds. Now here's where I can spend a lot of time. But also you need like Foley and sound effects. So I'm gonna see if I can find Foley. I don't think this Decap Knock X comes with Foley sounds. He might have drum fills in here. Okay, so they also have a lot of drum fills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's add that in. Double click, go to mode, stretch this out. I'm gonna move a little bit quicker here because this is like arbitrary creative decision type stuff. It's not mandatory. But again, bounce is all about figuring out how to get people to expect one thing and doing the opposite. And then we'll add the melodic stuff in a second. Okay, so he offers one shots here. Okay, that's time stretch it incorrectly. I forgot we're at regular tempo, so my brain didn't time stretch it properly. Let's pull this back. That's a little hard to lock it in. There we go. Now at the end of here, it's a little off as far as timing, but hold on, my screen is so small, y'all. Give me a second. All right, let's zoom in. Okay, it's a little off, so grab the slip tool, hit Alt, and then line that up with the grid, because right now it's a little off. Okay, and then I usually get rid of my drum, so I would slice this out. So you have to think more like a DJ in this bounce beat genre. Truncated means shortened, cut short. Let's add a melodic one shot. Okay, so this is more of a melody that we're playing with the bass, but it sounds cool. So again, you want that subtly delayed sound. 2, 3, 4. Actually, let me start on the downbeat and then switch it up. 2, 3, 4. Messed up the ending there a little bit. So I'm playing random keys there, but let's fix the MIDI. Hit Control Q. Make sure your snap to grid is like 1/4 beat or something smaller. We can get into all the little micro details, but let me just hear what this sounds like first before I start getting into all the little subtleties. So right here, I meant to go. This was like, I was trying to freestyle here. I'm cutting out some notes. Now this, I meant to go doom, doom, like that. Now here I want to shorten the note. So instead of going into the sampler and all that, I'm just gonna add another note here and turn the velocity down. That will cut that note off. So it goes dun, dun, and then it stops. And then I'm gonna add that mute. So remember, a mute is a note. In this case, we're turning the velocity down. So it goes dun, and then it stops. And also I'm gonna add a little pitch bend in here, double click on the note, go to slide note, make this note short like that. So it goes like that. So it goes, okay. And again, a lot of it's doom, 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 like that. You're following that strong beat. Now, also, what a technique I would use is go to my sound here, go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift just a little bit so it's delayed behind that kick. And that adds that subtle bounce because now you have a time delay between p and the whoom part. So it goes p, silence, whoom, p, whoom. And that's how you create more bounce too. So I'll exaggerate this to show you what I'm talking about. That's like super exaggerated. Okay, let's find some more melodic one shots. Also, they use a lot of melodic, like bell type stuff, hand mallets, that type of stuff. So let's record that. So now you see all these rhythms start adding up. I messed up there. Let me do that again because I hit the wrong note and it threw me off. So I'm going to change some of those notes, but it really doesn't matter, the notes. Hit Alt-Q. I'm playing my typing keyboard. Click this icon right here to play your typing keyboard. And right-click, I have mine set to Layout Piano at C, octave 4. So that's the settings. You got bars for this. So right here I have, it's very quantized sounding. So let's go to the wrench tool, turn up time shift. The goal is to throw that sound behind the other sounds. So a lot of people also add like fills, like instead of a drum fill, they would add a bunch of sound effects. I just don't have the time to like sit here and chop up 1,000 sound effects, but that's how you would do it. Also building up drop. So if you guys want to learn all this type of stuff, we have a Black Friday deal coming up soon. Actually, I'll give you guys the deal early. So use the code 50. Okay, so the code is just literally the numbers 5 and 0 at busyworksbeats.com/premium. Okay, so use the code there and you'll get 50% off. It's like an early Black Friday thing. I was going to launch it on Black Friday, but y'all are here, so whatever. Could you explain which genres do your mastermind covers? I have a lot of information here. If you want to learn more about the mastermind, I'm just going to send you to the sales page because it explains a lot more. I would have to explain a lot. But the mastermind is for businessy stuff. The premium is for more music production type stuff. So we do have also, there's so many offers we have going on. So busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker. We have the Beatmaker Blueprint, which is our new kind of Black Friday product. So that's the one you should focus on because that's the one with all the sounds in it. And it comes with the courses too if you need help with that. So that's called the Beatmaker Blueprint. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker and then you guys could use code 50. Actually, freak. The question is, dang. I think code 50 should be exempted from the Beatmaker bundle because it's already like a low price. So I'm going to have to go into the system and turn that off. So the people who are watching the replay, you won't be able to apply that to Beatmaker Blueprint. Okay, but you could apply it to everything else. The Discord, here's the Discord. But yeah, so that's how you make bounce beats. Again, the only thing we really didn't add is like a riser and then some sound effects. Foley sound effects. Where's our riser? So let's add some of these in here. I don't know if he has sound effects in here. Oh yeah, he has ad-libs in here. So you could add like ad-libs or any kind of vocal or any kind of sound effects from any game you like, whatever it is, your identity as a sound effect. So let's add this in, turn that down. So dun, dun, dun. So you got to think of this like a percussion. So dun, dun, woo, like that, and then cut it off. So the key is truncating the note. So 1, 2, 3, whoop, and then cut. I know I'm talking fast, but so 1, 2, 3. Even that was too long. So I wanted to go 1, 2, 3, whoop, and then stop. So you have to truncate the note very short. Even that's a little, let me manually do it. Hit Alt, grab the edge. I feel like that timing could be better, but it's a little delay in here. So that's the bounce beat. It really is up to your melodic style at that point. So we'll wrap this up. We've been going for 2 hours, I think, and it is time to wrap it up. I want to thank everybody for being here. Again, for Black Friday, the first thing I have for you is called the Beat Maker Bundle. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker. I keep calling it the Beatmaker Bundle. The Beatmaker Blueprint is completely new. It has 500. I just added 100 new one-shots, so it's 600 one-shots in there. I showed you how to use one-shots as instruments earlier. There's 400 drums that I've handpicked to sound like trap, pop, what else? Other genres in there? Reggaeton and Afrobeat drum kits. And then I have 100 plus MIDI in there. I just added a bonus to where it's like 100 something FL Studio project files for free, including all the sounds from those project files. So there's a ton of them there. Then you got, MIDI that's focused on emotions from our Music Theory Magic. I added that as a bonus for you guys. So it's 100 something MIDI in there, 100 plus Serum preset, basically everything you'd need to get rocking as a music producer. So go to busyworksbeats.com/beatmaker, and that's how you can find the Beatmaker Blueprint. Okay, and it comes with 3 bonus courses as well. Beat Magic, which teaches you how to make beats from scratch. FL Studio course, which guides you through FL Studio 21. And then another course on FL for like more FL stuff. And then there's Logic Pro in there as well. And how to mix your beats. I have all that in there for like $29. It's ridiculous. All that stuff together would probably be 200 something bucks if I added the actual price. So you guys get it for $29 for Black Friday. Okay, so that's the deal. Also, you can use code 50 for anything else during checkout, and it will activate 50% off. We'll email you all this stuff, so don't worry about memorizing us. But the only thing I won't have the 50% off thing apply to is the Beatmaker bundle, because it's already low priced. I don't want to that's too much of a discount. You would get it for $2. It wouldn't be fair. It would not be a fair exchange at all. All right, guys, thank you. Check out the websites if you want to learn more. Hopefully you